Okay, so when we're feeling overwhelmed, it can be really difficult to see a way through it. Our brain is focused on all of the things that we're facing, and typically it's telling us that it's all too much. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to do first. We don't know where to start, and that we don't have time to change anything or do anything differently. So it can be really useful to have a clear, simple process ready that you can go to and use to get yourself through overwhelm when you find that that's where you are. So I'm going to share mine with you on this video, 3 things that you can do to get through overwhelm. Now, the first thing is to stop. So when we're overwhelmed, our thoughts are usually jumping about, and this is often mirrored in our actions, in our behavior. So we can be jumping around from task to task, starting one thing, stopping, starting another, and not really getting anything done. So the first thing we want to do is just stop doing anything. And this can be really difficult if your brain is screaming at you that there's loads of things to do and you don't have time. And this is why we want to have this process ready in advance. So you've decided in advance, you have this intentional process that when this comes up and you're feeling overwhelmed, the first thing you do is stop. And then the second thing is to create some space. And that can look different depending on the situation. It can look like all kinds of different things. So if you're working, maybe working on a project and you're feeling overwhelmed, creating space might just be as simple as getting up from your desk, going outside, or making a cup of tea, something like that. Or if you're a parent or you have other caring responsibilities and you're overwhelmed in that situation, then creating space might look like leaving the room for a few minutes or handing over to someone else if you can. Or like with kids, setting up an activity for them. I like TV and a snack as my go-to. And if you're overwhelmed, like more generally, it might look like taking some time off work. It might be organizing extra childcare if that's an issue and it's available to you. It might be accessing or creating a space to talk to somebody, a friend, a colleague, a professional. So creating space, it can look like lots of different things, but thinking about how can I create some space for myself? And then once you're in that space, the third thing that we want to do is to ask ourselves one simple question, which is what is my next best step? And here I want to invite you to decide that you know the answer to that question, because you do. That when we're in the overwhelm and our brain is telling us that we can't and that we don't know, that's never true. So in the space that you've created, what is your next best step? And sometimes the next best step is finding more support, asking for more help, and that's okay. So these 3 things are your way to get through overwhelm: to stop, to create space, and then find your next best step. And as I say, the key is having this ready because it's taking your brain in the opposite direction of where it wants to go naturally when you're feeling overwhelmed. So this might be a video that you want to save and you can come back to as often as you want and use it as a reminder when you're feeling overwhelmed and you want to remember, okay, what's the process and how am I going to get through